The street vendors community has a lot of importance in shaping our culture and tradition, but lately they have been facing a lot of problems because of low income generation and bribery and other such issues. We as entrepreneurs thought it's high time to organize this unorganized sector into a very formulated business plan. Therefore, today I, Shivangi Srivastav,
And I, Divya Mamit Goenka.
And I, Chirag Pugalia, ought to start with why.
there are 10 million street vendors which have no social security at all because of the highly unorganized sector they come from. They have no access to license, right to vend because of lack of awareness and low literacy rate. And they have no technical assistance which keep them in the very offline market in comparison to the other markets which have been going in the online sector as well.
Our venture aims at organizing these street vendors into an organized platform. So, we aim to bring these street vendors together in a competitive union where they aim at business growth by making use of the opportunities, looking for business growth and development, and scaling their businesses. And that we call streetopreneur.
So our story so far, the idea was started through a short film competition as TAPE. Then we got incubated by Enactors where we actually went to the street vendors and realizes what problem they face. And at that time we realized it's high time that they should come in a very organized sector and form a community kind of a thing and get actually in the business format. And then, since then, we started participating in competitions. We even got special mention in Shriram College of Commerce and one initio as well. And in order to understand the field study, we recently started working with Hopcom as well.
So this is our structure at the final stage. We prefer it keeping simpler because I'm limiting it to 5 area of operations. So the first one is circle. A circle will comprise of 20 street vendors from different product lines. That means 20 small different businesses. The problem of a street vendor will no more be limited to him or her. 19 different perspectives will come together to solve their own problem. The problem will then be documented as case studies and will be presented to students and faculties of commerce and management.
Coming to the legal area of work, the Street Vendors Protection Act lists down a lot of rules and regulations, conditions and criteria, which most of the time goes beyond the understanding of these street vendors. So our work in this area would involve checking the compatibility of the legality with the field work in the marketplaces. Coming to the technical aspect, which is the highlight of our main project. So we aim at creating a multilingual mobile application which will enable an online platform for all the registered members, branding them as street entrepreneurs with a logo of their own. This will enhance their visibility by showing on the map the real-time location and area of operation. Mobile vendors can trace real-time demand and supply and plan their routes in a way making the best use of opportunity. This will also strengthen their B2B and B2C structures. More than anything, we aim to bring them on an online ecosystem as compared to their already existing offline-only models. Fourth area of work is action implementation, bringing these ideas and solutions which are discussed in the troubleshooting meetings and sessions that they are having to the actual marketplace. That is going to be the fourth area of work that we will enlist.
The financials. An yearly subscription of Rs 1987 will be charged from the street vendors exclusive of GST. After GST, a sum of Rs 2345 will come. After that, Rs 251 will be reimbursed to the state, district and local office, followed by revenue of Rs 1234 per street vendor will be transferred to the national headquarters. So a transition from a vendor to an entrepreneur can be witnessed in those 3 years. So in the first year, a transition from a vendor, from an operator to a manager, then to a CEO, entrepreneur, and then an entrepreneur investor in the next 5 years.
Coming to the financial targets, by the end of 5 years, one more minute, sir. By the end of 5 years, we aim at a revenue of 9.8 crore revenue at the national headquarters by the end of 2023. We also aim at a 6.5 crore net surplus by 2023. Also, coming at a 5-year targets, we are aiming at creating 3,970 circles as well as getting a membership of 79,400 street vendors across 24 cities in India. Our total capital investment requirement to gain that initial traction is Rs 1.2 crore. So by the end of 2023, we aim to create a body of street entrepreneurs, which will be a nationwide unit of strength and unity. And this we call the streetopreneurs. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for doing this. It's a worthwhile project, I think. How do the street vendors, what sophistication do you assume from them to get involved in this, and how do you convince them of using something that they probably have no concept of?
Yeah, that is the first question we are being asked wherever we present this idea or wherever we go. So basically what people understand through this is that sophistication, the street vendors would be resistant to come up to this. They like to be in their own comfort zones. But by talking about innovation, it's most of the time, it can be in very little ways, like having a hand glove to show the customers that these vendors are actually thinking of the consumer's hygiene. These are little solutions that will be discussed in those troubleshooting meetings, and that will come out to the field, wherein these street vendors will think as entrepreneurs instead of just being vendors. They'll be thinking about how to tap that extra market, how to increase their revenues by these little things that will be discussed in these training sessions and troubleshooting meetings. Coming to the application part of it, which again seems to be difficult to digest, that street vendors will come up to the application and use. The thing there is, we are making a multilingual application. And through these training programs and training sessions, we are having a team of interns and students who will be assessing them directly on field. That is what I talked about, the implementation area of work. So we're trying our best into getting that traction from the street vendors. In our market research, we've identified a lot of street vendors in this region of Koramangala, Tavrikere, SG Palya, who are actually interested for joining this program. So we'll be doing a pilot run in the first 3 months, January, February, March, and we'll be actually going ahead with all those kinds of assistance that they require. And our team is of students who can work day and night, who will be going there and assisting the street vendors on the field as well as in the meetings and troubleshooting sessions. So both way, we are trying to get those street vendors out of that vendor mentality to an entrepreneur mentality.
Okay. So just a suggestion that once you do this project, whatever learning you get from how you were able to convert the street vendors, I suggest you document this and make it available all over India. So anybody who wants to do it, let them do it.
Sure, sir.
It'll be extremely useful. I'm a little bit skeptical of how much conversion you can get, just because they're looking at it day to day. How am I going to get my lunch today? So it's great if you can do it, but if you actually are successful, I suggest as a social project. That's what this is. Just make it available, produce, so that anybody can follow that.
Thank you, sir. We'll definitely do that.
First of all, excellent presentation. Having said that, in terms of the benefits to the streetopreneurs, I didn't see the working capital management or anything on the finance part of it. I was happy that the last one was financials, but that was how much you're planning to charge them or something. Their primary concern is their cost of funds. If they can get by that, getting once in a while, held up by a traffic cops or anything, they would probably figure that out. Those are one-off situations. The cost of funds for them is a big issue. Is there any plan for that?
Sir, right now, street vendors are in a very unorganized structure as of now. So even if they want to avail smaller loans, there's no single place where, okay, if I am an investor, if you are an investor who has 1 lakh or 10 lakhs to invest, and you want to invest in a smaller business, right now you cannot approach them directly because they are an unorganized sector. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to get them into an organized sector, so that a platform is created wherein even smaller investors, for example, I'm a businessman, I have savings of 10 lakhs. I want to invest that into a smaller business. There's a famous street vendor who sells samosas, and I see that thing in him. He can directly approach this platform, he can see the reports, he'll have some data on basis of which he can invest in those businesses, and we can source those finances for these small street vendors. Also, coming up to the unnecessary costs that these vendors are paying because of being in this unorganized structure. So 600 crores of hard-earned money in Delhi region alone goes into bribes every single year. So if a huge magnitude of amount like this just by coming into the organized structure, just by getting those licenses, because of which they have to pay so much of bribes every single year. If that amount is tapped into and tapped from an entrepreneurial mindset, what cannot change, sir?
Also, sir, we aim at building a blue ocean company which has no competition as of now. If we like focus on Grofers, Amazon, or Big Basket, they have been miserably failed in tier 2 cities. So our target market will be tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities, and we will build a strong platform on tier 1 cities as well.
I agree, but I don't agree as well. Maybe we have to do some survey as to what are their top 5 pain points, and that would help you in prioritizing, because the problem you're trying to solve is like gargantuan. It's like changing the country in itself. It's changing the culture in itself. Did you ever try and do that, a questionnaire or a survey or something like that? What are their top 5 pain points?
So when we went out into the market, we did a survey of what customers want from street vendors, and we did a survey of how many street vendors are actually ready for a change like this, for a change like to join this program. So we got to get those statistics wherein what customers want from a street vendor. They firstly want hygienic products. They want as fast as it can get, and they're also comfortable in going to the street vendors because they have that kind of personal touch with those street vendors. So these were few of the things that we identified. Now the issue is that again, these street vendors being in an unorganized structure, they are not able to get to the customers directly and interact with them and find out what the customers actually want through them. So we're just creating a mechanism wherein these street vendors get much closer to the customers. They can get what the customers want from them. They can work like entrepreneurs. And I believe, sir, this is not a big change this is not a very big thing that cannot happen. This can definitely happen, and we are starting it by 2018.
One thing. So this is the problem I face when I shop from street vendors. When I ask them, do you use Paytm? They say no. They're not ready to deploy Paytm. So how will you convince them to use your app and technology and onboard them and convince them that, okay, the customers will be coming through the technology or something? How? So Paytm being so successful in India, still street vendors are not ready to deploy it. So that's my question.
So we agree that a lot of street vendors won't be agreeing initially, but as he said that we will be having those circles where their problems are going to be discussed. So if we give them technical assistance and we tell them how to use it, even with providing them with the phones at the initial stage and all the data and everything, we will make sure that at least a particular group uses it, and through using of that particular app, there's an increase in their sale. And if there is an increase in their sale, then I'm pretty sure that they will try to actually use it, and they will agree, and this will create a market for the other people as well. So if my competitor who's selling bananas, if I'm seeing that by using that particular app, he's having an increase of 10% also, I would definitely like to install it to have a more increase. So the training session is very important for us, which we will be doing, and as we said, it's going to be a multilingual app and everything, which the whole idea of this app is to re-establish the connection between the vendor and customer also. There is no middleman here. So in that way, a very strong relationship will be there between the vendor and the customer, and it's going to be very friendly for the vendor itself. So I think he will be very comfortable to use it.
Interesting idea. So I am curious, what are the chunks where you would put your 1.2 crores, which you are asking for?
We've given the breakup in the financials that
I'm more
provided.
looking for the major chunks where you will deploy
the major
that.
chunk is firstly setting up of an infrastructure at the national level, state level, and district level. So, and on top of that, coming up with the application. So we got a quotation for an application which enlists 3 versions of it. That is the super admin, the application for vendors, and the application for customers. So that is the one major chunk. Other major chunk is our infrastructure cost. We will require infrastructure where these vendors can meet where these vendors can have their troubleshooting sessions. So infrastructure and so offline infrastructure and online infrastructure is what is going to be the major chunk. More than anything, we have the infrastructure of Christ University. That is the best advantage we have, and resources of Christ University. So that is again going to help us a lot, and that is one way we are, cutting down most of our major costs, being the student. Regarding the Paytm doubt you have, I have just a little add-on to that. Why these vendors are resistant to use Paytm? But even we had that doubt. So we went out to these vendors and we actually asked them, why do you not use Paytm? Their answer was that whatever we earn today, we eat today. We can't go every day to the bank and withdraw that amount. And why is that happening? Because these guys don't have any savings. So by reducing bribes, by reducing the amount they're paying as bribes, and by optimizing their entire operation circles, we're just increasing the savings for them.
Please wrap up fast.
Yeah. After which they won't have an issue coming up to Paytm. Right now they don't have savings. That's the main reason why they don't use Paytm.
And the reason for not having savings is...
Hello? Yeah, I think we have to cut it off now.
Sure.
So thank you for your presentation and thank you for all the questions.